What's up, gamers? Mass Gamer here today to bring you another one of our Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 video reviews. Today we are here to talk about the P90. Wanted to switch it up and put a real live photo of the P90 because it's a pretty cool and unique looking weapon. First off, we're going to start with a spray comparison. This is the P90 with no attachments or proficiencies. You can see it's got a pretty decent cone of fire, and it's fairly tight for it being an SMG. Here we are aiming down the sights. It's a pretty darn accurate weapon, pretty good weapon for pretty much all situations. I've seen a lot of people getting mobs with these things. It's a pretty reliable and accurate weapon. So we'll go ahead and switch over to the ideal setup, which is going to be range and rapid fire. I pretty much suggest range and rapid fire for all SMGs, basically because it gives you that additional range to compete the best that you can against assault rifles, and it also gives you that additional rate of fire, which is going to help you out in the long run. As you can see, the cone of fire is a little bit tighter when aiming down the when shooting from the hips and aiming down the sights as well. This gun is a good all-around weapon to take control of the battlefield. I would say that this is one of the better SMGs. Most of them are usable, but this is probably one of the more top-tier SMGs. So we're going to go ahead and jump into a gameplay here. We're doing a little demolition to switch things up. One of my favorite game types. All the way from Black Ops to Modern Warfare 3, I think it's one of the more fun and fast-paced, intense game types, so wanted to put that up here. As you know, my favorite is Domination overall, but this is probably a close second for me. Oh, look at that, totally got that guy. He was AFK, and he didn't even see me coming. Basically, the P90, the way that this gun feels is it's super lightweight. It just has an all-around good feel to it. It is quick to aim down the sight, so this is definitely an advantage when you're coming up with an opponent in a close range battle. The rate of fire is a little bit slower for most of the SMGs until you put rapid fire on it, so I definitely suggest you put rapid fire on it to really get the most bang for your buck out of this weapon. I've seen a lot of people get MOBs or MOABs, however you would pronounce that, and I don't really know who started pronouncing it MOAB, because if you think about it, then you're trying to pronounce it, all is pronounced all, not al. So I don't know where the ab part got out of it. So anyways, I would consider it being pronounced MOB, not Moab. So for the attachments and proficiency, like I said, range and rapid fire is definitely my strongest suggestion for this weapon. It'll give you the most versatility and competitive advantage when you are fighting. Look at that lucky double kill right there. Do have a pretty decent gameplay here in Demolition. This is a really good game. If you're playing with your clan or your team or whatever, it's really easy just to rack up a ton of kills. Back when I was using the Striker a lot, I've got a few games where I was in the 80+ kills with a Striker on Demolition, because the games can go on for quite some time, and it's a lot of fun. I say most of them end up going into overtime for the majority of the games on Demolition, but when they don't, the other team really got destroyed. So for the ratings for this weapon, I would give it four different situations that I rated on. The first one's going to be power. The second is the accuracy and reliability, the overall reliability and how accurate the weapon is. The movement, how much this weapon's going to bog you down. And the first strike. The first strike is when you're coming toe-to-toe, face-to-face with somebody. How likely are you able to come out of that battle victorious? So for the P90, I rate the power a 3. Definitely has a lot of good power behind the punch there. It definitely is a well-balanced and powerful submachine gun, so I rated a 3. Accuracy and reliability, this is a highly accurate SMG, and it is good at medium to medium long range in a lot of cases. This is a good weapon. I give it a 4. And for movement, obviously this is an SMG, so it is very lightweight. I rated a 4 out of 5. And for the first strike, I give it a 3. Only reason is if you're coming up against other SMGs, there are others that will beat you. The MP7 PP90. I think those two will usually beat you if you do come toe-to-toe with them, so that's why I rated that. So overall, I give it a 14, one of the best SMGs in the game, one of the top tiers. So if you haven't used it and want to try it out, I definitely suggest using it. The iron sights are good on this. I like it's not too invasive. It is a little bit bulky, but it's not too invasive, and I like the little iron sight. Kind of gives you a line of where you're aiming, so I think it kind of helps out with your accuracy and everything. So I definitely like this weapon overall. As far as the game types for this weapon, you can pretty much use it for everything. This is a really good free-for-all weapon. I would just say if if you're playing on a really long-range map, you might want to switch over to an assault rifle or maybe the MP7 to give you that edge. But overall, you can pretty much use this for all game types. As far as the player skill, I consider that there's 3 different player skills. One would be the beginner, who might not be very experienced in Call of Duty or first-person shooters in general. The second would be the average player, which I think is the vast majority of Call of Duty players. Oh, look at that guy. You see him standing up there like a little wuss? Yeah, that's right. He got what he deserved. Second one would be average. That'd be the majority of Call of Duty players would be average players. And then you're going to have your good player. These are the people that are always consistently at the top of the list for the most part, putting up pretty big numbers and have a decent kill-death ratio. Me personally, I consider anything above a 1.0 a decent kill-death ratio for this game, especially if you're trying different things, using different weapons. Oh, look at that guy. Death by care package. Man, that guy was pissed off. That's one of the best ways to die in this game, or I guess worst ways of dying in this game is getting raped by a care package. Everybody hates that, especially if you get an enemy. If you get an enemy with that, that's one of the most satisfying kills in the entire game. So back to the player types. Sorry, I'm digressing to the gameplay that's happening on screen. The player types for this, you can pretty much use it for all player skill levels. This is good for everybody. The beginner will probably have a little bit more struggle with it, just because I think there's some better suited weapons for beginners, but I think they can use this as well. But as far as the player types, there's also 3 different player types. There's the aggressive, that'd be the in-your-face, rushing to the flag, first one running out to meet the enemy on pretty much all occasions. That would be the aggressive player. And then you have the moderate. It's going to be more of a middle player, kind of a stick and move, find a little cover, stick there for a little bit, find a little bit more cover, move while obviously moving up the field. Then you're going to have your defensive player, probably my least favorite type of player, which is more of the campy type of player, more of the type of player that's hiding in a corner, defending an objective, that kind of a thing. So I would say for this weapon, you can use it for all 3, but the defensive player is probably going to have a little bit more of a difficult time doing that just because of the lack of range. So I'd say more of a moderate to aggressive play style is going to give you the most amount of success with this weapon. Class setup with this, definitely sleight of hand. I think that's a necessity in this game, is that extra reload times. I mean, if you got 2 people and one of them do not have sleight of hand and they're battling it out, the person that has sleight of hand is going to come out top most of the time, depending on player skill and all that good stuff. Second one is a little bit more flexible. I like to use hardline these days just because it gets me to my kill streaks a lot quicker, but I would also suggest assassin or quick draw. Quick draw will give you that added advantage when you're aiming down your sights, but my first 2 choices would be hardline and assassin. Assassin's definitely a very usable and useful perk. Oh, look at that. And then and then the third one, with all SMGs, I definitely suggest using Stalker. That is going to give you much more of an advantage than any of the other ones in that tier, in the 3rd tier, because you're going to be able to stick and move, and you're going to be able to dodge and weave and jump out of the way and move a lot quicker while you're aiming down the sights. Strafing is extremely important when you're using SMGs, in my opinion, because they stay relatively accurate when you are moving with them, so definitely gives you that advantage. So basically the recap for the P90 is it's an overall good and versatile weapon. I definitely suggest using it. It's one of the top tier SMGs. Some tips for this weapon, obviously, is strafing, sticking, and moving. You want to be moving more often than not with this weapon. Drop shots are really effective with this weapon as well. And the hip fire is really good, so I mean, as you can see there, hip fire is really accurate, really powerful. Yep, and there's my Reaper. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down a little rocket shells here. Looks like we're getting some Reapers here in the States too, apparently. Maybe not Reapers exactly, but we will have some drones above, which don't necessarily agree with, but it is what it is. Reaper is definitely one of my favorite kill streaks. It's a lot of fun, and the more you use it, the better you get with it, where you can kind of get that in where you need to get it, get the rockets in where you need to get them, and really piss people off that are hiding from them. But anyways, this weapon, definitely suggest using it. I appreciate you guys watching our videos. Hopefully you enjoy this. Stay tuned, because we will be continuing the series until we do have every single weapon in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 covered. So appreciate you guys watching. Like if you sub, and sub if you like. And until next time, Masked Gamer is out.